Good morning, fourth grade. Good morning, fourth grade parents. My name is Aaron Bauer. I'm the fourth grade teacher here at Garden Homes Lutheran School. This is actually my 20th year teaching here at Garden Homes. I started out as a second grade teacher, then I did a little work as vice principal, and then I was a third grade teacher, and then they needed me as vice principal again, and now I'm the fourth grade teacher, and hopefully they don't need me as vice principal anymore. I'm very blessed to be having your child in my class today. This year, a couple things about me. First of all, technology and video cameras scare me, so if I say some funny things on the video, it's just because I'm staring at a screen when I'd rather be talking to you in person. One of the reasons we're doing the videos is to help you guys with the orientation and registration process. It seems like there was parents who had multiple kids and they go to multiple classrooms and catch only part of each of the teachers' little speeches about the upcoming school year. So we're trying it this year, trying it this way this year, and I think it's going to be a great idea. However, if you do have any questions that were not answered on this short video, come see me on orientation registration day. I'll be here all day. I'll be in the classroom. If you want to bring up school supplies that day, that would be fantastic. If you just want to meet me and check out the classroom, we have a sports theme this year, and I'm decorating my classroom with all sports-related objects so that it's appealing to the children and hopefully make it a fun environment. A couple other things about me is I'm the original Bauer here at Garden Homes. My wife and I started teaching here 20 years ago, and she taught for 3 years and then took 10 years off to stay home with our 4 children who are now all in school, and so she's back teaching here. My brother teaches 6th grade, and my youngest brother is the tech guy here and the vice principal. So if you hear about this Mr. Bauer, that Mr. Bauer, there is a couple of us here. I have a list of things that I'd like to do. First one on my list is welcome you here to Garden Homes and to the 4th grade. I'm very, very excited to have you. Second, we want to cover communication. The majority of all the communication that comes from me will be via email. All the important announcements from school will come from email. All of our newsletters that they used to send home paper copy will now be digital. Those will be sent to you via email and on the school website. So if you are not receiving GradeLink emails, you probably didn't get this video, but check when you're here in registration. Make sure you have your communication updated. I also put all of your numbers into my phone so that if you ever call me, I know it's you and I won't not answer it. Please put my number into your phone. It is 414-412-6459, and feel free to use it if you ever have any questions for me. I also will have what we call a home note, and it'll come home in your child's folder. My dock camera shows it here. I just picked a random one and printed it for you. This was March 9th of a couple years ago. You'll see a whole bunch of things on it. First of all, here will be our memory work. We have memory work twice a week. We have a spelling test on Friday. There will be the spelling words listed for you to practice with your children. And then here's what's you should see for homework each day. Now, sometimes kids get their homework done at school, and sometimes they have this for homework. Sometimes if there's like a science test or a social studies test, or maybe during the day we got a little bit behind, they have a little English assignment. It might be a little bit different than this, but this will give you a good idea of what they should be doing for homework each night. We don't want to kill the kids with homework, but we also want them to be able to go home and show they have some responsibility to knock some things out. We have a assignment notebook that they'll fill out every day. That'll also tell you what they have for homework. 4th graders are required to have all homework signed by parents. You can just sign it in the top right-hand corner. Some of our sheets have little parent signature places. You can sign that. We'd love it if you would take time to check some of your children's homework rather than just sign it. But please don't sign it if it's not done. Sometimes kids say, "Mom, sign my homework," and they sign, and then the kid didn't do any of the homework on the back, and then I'm wondering if you actually checked your homework or if the kid actually did it. So check it over, spot check it at the very least. Check it with your student to help their education. It's best if you go over their homework with them. I understand, I got 4 kids, the parents are busy, so do the best that you can and communicate well with me. Okay? All right. Our school times this year are at 7:15. Your kids can come to school and then go and get breakfast. Breakfast is going to be held in our classroom, so they'll get it from downstairs and they'll come eat in the classroom. If they want that breakfast, they got to be here by 7:45. Day starts at 5 minutes to 8. The first bell will ring and we'll be in silent prayer. At 8 o'clock, then we'll get started. Anybody who is here past 8 o'clock will have to stop by the office, and the secretary will mark them tardy for the day. That's something we want to avoid. I think if your child's here by 7:45, they should have plenty of time to turn in all their books, turn in their homework, get their desk straight, hang up their jackets, and start getting set for the day. We start with devotion, and there'll be a Bible passage on the board. It's nice if the kids can have their Bibles open and ready to go by 8 o'clock. It's really tough to make the flow of the day go smoothly if we have somebody coming in at 8:02, and then somebody at 8:04, and then somebody at 8:06. And so please do your best to have your kids here on time to the best of your abilities. Also, now that I'm thinking about having your kids here, hey, last year we found out that the majority of all the students who were either in person or at home and actually in class learn the most. And so, hey, do your best to have your kids here every day, that their health allows them to be here. We understand that kids get sick. When kids get sick, please let me know. I worry about them when they're not here, and then you and I can make arrangements for how they can make up that homework or which homework that they need to do. School uniforms this year, they changed the school uniforms a little bit to make it a little bit easier on parents. They're allowing polos this year. They can still wear their nice, beautiful button-down dress shirts. Otherwise, they can wear their polos. They can wear either light blue or they can wear white this year. They're keeping the navy pants, the belts, and the dress shoes, so please do your best to make sure that you have those. What the school uniforms look like was sent out to you via email earlier communication, as well as hopefully Mr. Harvey will take care of that at orientation as well. Please do me a favor. As a male teacher, it's really kind of awkward for me when students wear undergarments that are inappropriate. And I am cringing even to say it, but please, parents with young ladies, make sure that your daughters wear only white undergarments as per the school uniform code. They also can wear sweaters if they like to wear sweaters. Navy blue sweaters are allowed. They can be the zip-up kind, or they can be the pullover kind, whatever works best for you. Books. Your kids will bring home some books. I'll show you a few of them. First of all, here's our Saxon math book. It's similar to the third grade book. If you were here last year, it's pretty heavy duty. Every day there will be 30 problems in the book. Most of the problems at the beginning are word problems, as you can see down here. The first 6 or 8 of them are word problems. Then the middle section are all computation ones. You're adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, working with fractions. These are the ones at home that I think that you could easily check with your phones for your kids. Now, kids aren't supposed to be using calculators or phones to answer theirs, because on our tests they don't get to use. On our state standardized tests they don't get to use calculators. So we try to train them. So if your child's using a calculator, they're really setting themselves up for disaster on the test. But you're welcome to use a calculator to check those. We mark them wrong if the kid doesn't show all their work. For example, on this problem here, it's a missing subtraction problem. They would have to set up a different subtraction problem over here, and they'd have to show all their work. If they come up with the answer with no work, obviously they use a calculator or a phone, then we mark that one wrong. Same with this one. A student can't come up with the answer to this problem without showing any of the work. And so again, if they use a calculator, those will be marked incorrect. All work should be shown on the workspace. And here's what the workspace looks like. It's got 30 problems every day. All work should be here. They set up the problem here. They do all the work here, and then write the answer in the answer space. Set up the problem here, do all the work here, answer in the answer space. The last ones on the page are also word problems. Some of these will be a little bit tougher for parents to check real quickly. Now you can read them over, and I'm sure that you'll be able to help them out if they struggle with them. But if you check out all the ones in the middle, those are the ones we really want you checking. The ones at the beginning and at the end, we try to do some of those in class. I like to say, hey, let's get 6 problems done in 10 minutes. We usually save 10 minutes at the end of class to do the 6 toughest problems to help them get a good jump start on their homework. We also here at Garden Homes this year will have Power Hour again. Yay! Your child probably never experienced Power Hour with the strange school year we had last year. But Power Hour is a thing where 3rd or 4th graders can come after school into my classroom from 3:30 to 4:30, and there will be teachers' aides or teachers in there every night. Now, I should be there every night except for the nights that I coach sports here at Garden Homes. My teacher's aide will be here, and a third grade teacher or the third grade teacher's aide will be here. So we'll have a couple adults. Students who don't need any help, don't come. Students who need a little help, come. Students who need a lot of help, you should be encouraged to stay after school so we can get you caught up. What we'll do in Power Hour is help you with problems that you're stuck on, as well as check your homework over if you haven't finished. Now, a lot of times parents say, hey, my kids stay for Power Hour and they're still struggling with math. Please remember that sometimes there's up to 20 or 30 kids and 2 or 3 adults. And so if your child has a question on every problem, I will not be able to help them on every problem because I'll be helping other students too. So we'll be available. We'll be here to help. But we do provide a nice quiet study spot from 3:30 until 4:30. With that being said, we do not have extended care this year. And so your kid can't stay here past 4:30 in extended care. My aide gets paid till 4:30 on the night that he dismissed. We'd like to dismiss at 4:25 and everybody gone by 4:30. If you're ever going to be late by 4:30, you got to text us and let us know. But otherwise, everybody's gone by 4:30. The normal school day gets done at 3:30. We'll dismiss at 3:30. And between 3:30 and 3:45 is when you can pick your child up. There is no extended care this year, so please make arrangements. Now, Mr. Harvey is working on that. We just have not found anybody that wants to be after school with kids from 3:30 until 5 yet. So no extended care. Pick up your kids between 3:30 and 3:45. Otherwise, 4:30 if they stay for Power Hour, they need to be gone. So that was math, and what the math book will look like. They'll have math homework every night. I try not to send any homework home on Fridays. We'll take a math test on Friday. Until we get going in the school year, you might have a little work on Fridays because we can't take the first test till after 10 lessons. All right, that's math. They also have a math fact sheet that they'll bring home in their blue folder every day. The blue folder is the one where I showed you where the assignments will be located, and then if you open it up, this is the side that says return to school. They should be putting their homework in this side. Do it, bring it back, and then if there's old papers, corrected papers, notes, that'll be put in this side, and then check those folders each night and clean them out of the things that should be kept at home. Other books that you'll see throughout the week will be our reading book. We actually have 2 of them. They're kind of the same color, so let's not get confused. We call one the little book and the big book. This one's the little book because it's a little bit smaller than the other one. This is our reading writing workshop book. There will be a reading story that we have in here, and this book will come home on Mondays. The students should read you the little story that's in that book. The first one's going to be called The Dragon Problem. It's just a 4-page little story. They should read it to you. We'll stick some little post-it notes on here, parents sign. They bring that back for an easy A. We'll work with this book all week. On Wednesdays, we'll launch the big read, which comes with the character in an airplane. Those stories sometimes are short and sometimes they're really long. The long stories you're welcome to read with your child. Otherwise, your child should read them to you or another sibling. And again, we'll have a little post-it note in there for them to sign that they read the story. This one's hilarious. This is the first story they'll bring home. It's a little bit longer. It's called The Princess and the Pizza. Maybe you've heard it before. They kind of make fun of some of the princesses in the Disney movies in this little story here. Okay, so those will be what they read. Every night your child should have something to read. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, they'll bring home little sheets like this. These are Christ-Light sheets. And these Christ-Light sheets will be our Christ-Light stories. Each story, we work with it for 2 days. So on the first day, I'll just tell them the story and we'll talk about it. On the second day, they'll actually read the story with me. We might act it out. We'll have some call and response on it, and a lot of times we'll have a worksheet or an activity at the end of the lesson. Then we'll send it home, and we like the parents to sign in the top right-hand corner. We'll use our pens or our highlighters to signal where you should sign, but the kids should read this to you. On the back side, there's a little parent and kids connection, and there's sometimes some activities there. There's always a prayer there. These things are really awesome for you to do at home to strengthen the faith of your child. Again, this is what we'll start each day with after devotion. This will be our Christ-Light story. These will come home on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Monday you'll read in the reading book, Tuesday you'll read in the Christ-Light, Wednesday reading book, Thursday Christ-Light, and then Friday night hopefully take the night off. All right, this year we're allowing kids to have water bottles. Last year, because they shut off the drinking fountains, they're still off. I don't know if they're going to turn them on. we said kids can bring in water bottles. Well, last year we had all sorts of thermoses and containers and Kool-Aid and soda and things that we probably shouldn't be drinking during the school day. So this year I'm asking if parents, you want to send water in for your kids? That's fantastic. Just get a water bottle. They're welcome to refill it. I don't mind that at all, but just a plain clear water bottle so that I don't have to deal with it's Kool-Aid, it's not Kool-Aid, it might be Kool-Aid. I don't want to check your water bottles for Kool-Aid. Okay, so just plain water bottles this year help keep our kids healthy and hydrated. Attendance. I think I covered it all. One of the things that we do here at Garden Homes is we have a discipline module that's called Love and Logic. And the Love and Logic classroom runs a lot like this. I have this little sheet. I usually send it home with my parents so you know how the classroom's going to run. If you stop up for orientation, I'll have some sheets if you like this one. First of all, it says, how do I run my Love and Logic classroom? The cool thing about this is if you were here last year, Miss Mackey already did this. If you were here the year before, Miss Ernst already did this. Your kids already know everything about this. But I like to tell the parents so that we can cut off any problems we have. I don't know if your kids are anything like me. When I got in trouble at school, I would go home and I would tell my parents everything the other kids did, everything the teacher did wrong, and leave out the part where I was the problem. And so if your kids ever come home and say, the teacher's not fair, the teacher's not fair, hopefully with our Love and Logic classroom procedures, you'll be able to say, well, a few key words that I want to teach you now. First of all, our first rule for Love and Logic is, I got to act right. I'll treat your kids with respect so that they know how to treat me. When we go to the cafeteria, I'll say please and thank you to the lunch lady to teach them how to say please and thank you. When we go through the doors, I'll teach the boys how to hold the door open for the girls, to teach them how to be gentlemen. And they turn in classwork, I'll congratulate them and give them high fives, and maybe not high fives this year, we'll have to see, so that they know how to encourage each other. Our big rule here then is feel free to do anything that doesn't cause a problem for anybody else on the face of the earth. And what does this really mean? This means, well, when we get together in school, my kids and I will talk about this. Do you like to be hit? Me neither. That'd be a problem. Do you like to be kicked? No. Do you like to be called out of your name? No. Do you like somebody looking at your paper and cheating? Do you like somebody picking on you, making fun of you, bullying you? Those are all problems. So instead of listing all the hundreds of things that kids could do wrong, we don't want to focus on the negative that much. We say, hey, if you cause a problem, then we're going to do something about it. Now, for me, a problem is a kid tapping their pencil on their desk. Now, it might not seem that big of a deal, but we got this little rule in my class, and we say, hey, if 30 can't do it, 1 can't do it. What does that mean? Well, if 30 kids were tapping their pencils on their desks, I don't think we'd get anything done. And if 30 people were shouting answers at the teacher without raising their hand, I think it would be kind of crazy in here. So we got the rule of 30. We're going to have 30 kids in class this year. If 30 kids can't do it at the same time, then, well, let's do it properly. So little things like tapping your pencil or getting out of your seat without permission could be kind of crazy if 30 kids did that. So we'll always raise our hand. We'll ask for permission to do those things. What happens if there is a problem? And there will be a few this year. So if you cause a problem, I'm just going to ask you to solve it. And I'll usually do this in private, and I'll usually do this with a whisper, as not to draw any attention to negativity in the classroom, as not to embarrass your child, just to let them know this doesn't happen here. And how they solve it is really up to them. Some kids like to, well, give up a few minutes of recess. Some kids like to put the teacher's energy back by sorting papers, helping the teacher out, performing some kind of classroom task that would help the class out. Some kids like to stand on the line at recess. Some kids like to write sentences. I prefer not to, but some kids choose that. You notice I let them choose. Usually when we let our kids choose what their solution to the problem will be, is they own it. And then usually it doesn't get to be any bigger of a problem. However, if you can't solve the problem or you choose not to, now some parents usually laugh at this time of my presentation, they choose not to. I don't know if any of your kids are like me, but once in a while my mom would say, hey, da-da-da-da-da, and I'd get to pout on, and I'd get stubborn, and I'd stomp my feet, and I'd run to my room, and I'd slam my door. And, okay, well, there's no rooms for your kids to run to here at school and slam doors, but we would prefer that doesn't happen. But if your kid does pout and decides not to solve the problem, then I'll do it. Now, if it's little, we're going to solve all little things at school. If it's big, I'll contact you. If there's something that I need to pass on to the principal, I'll contact you. If it's something so big that the principal wants to suspend your child, I'll contact you. If I didn't contact you, that's because I thought it was small. Now, my idea of small is almost everything that happens at school. I hope that nothing happens at home where it's so bad that you call me up and say, Mr. Bauer, ground my kid from recess at school because he acted up at home. And with that little thought, I'm never going to call you and say, ground your kid at home because he acted up at school. I'm a sinful human being. Kids are sinful human beings. We're going to make some mistakes, and hopefully we can keep them all nice and small. I will call if it's something big or if I'm worried about anything. If I don't call and your kid comes home and says, I got in trouble, remember, I thought it was small. Something that normal kids who are in 4th grade have done and will do for all eternity. Okay? All right. We'll try not to make too big of a deal out of discipline. What will I do if your kid decides not to solve it? Well, this is the awesome time that I get to tell you, your child is special. Your child is special. What I'll do depend on the special person and the special situation. In other words, if both you and I act up in class and I lose recess and you have to write sentences, that's not unfair. Because for me to lose recess is the worst thing under the whole entire world. And if I know if I act up again, I'm going to lose recess again, I probably won't act up anymore. You, on the other hand, might not care all about recess. My sister could care less about recess. If the teacher took her recess away as a consequence, she wouldn't have learned anything. So I'm going to do my best to match up the learning opportunity with the unique child of God that your child is. All right. I already said it once. I'm going to say it again. I'm sinful. I'm going to screw up sometime this year. And so we want to teach your kids. And I'll teach them the first day of school. And now I'm going to teach you. I might screw up. And if you feel that I screwed up or if I was unfair, all your child has to do is whisper to me, I'm not sure that's fair. Can we talk? And if your child does that in a kind and a loving way, not scream across the classroom, you're not fair, Mr. Bauer, I hate you, we're going to work on it. And if your kid thinks enough that I'm not fair and comes and talks to me and has a better solution than mine, well then that's the one we'll go with. Now the reason we put this one there is this is the one like get out of jail for you free parents. You work hard, you got a lot of things going on. If you have kids, you're probably busy. And so we don't want you to have to worry about your kids being mistreated at school. We don't want you to have to worry about your kids not getting a fair consequence. And so all you have to do if your kid comes home and complains about me not being fair is you can say, did you tell Mr. Bauer? Because a lot of times kids will go home and tell their parents all the things that the other kids did or the teacher did without telling them what they did. And remember, I'm only going to call if it's big. And if I didn't call, I didn't think it was a big deal. And so maybe you can just whisper to them, hey, did you whisper to Mr. Bauer that you didn't think it was fair? Maybe you should do that tomorrow. Now, after they get done telling your story, you might be a lot like me. Or you might be a lot like my wife. My wife and I are like Papa and Mama Bear. And anytime somebody comes between us and our little cubs, we want to rescue them. And that's natural. And so if you feel that I was unfair, after your kids told you whatever happened, then please call me. But I ask one thing. Don't do it when you're emotional. Please don't get all upset with me and do it when you're emotional, because if you're yelling and I get defensive, we may not get anywhere. Wait till you're good and calm, and then do it in private. The last thing that we want to teach your kids is they can come home and tell you one thing, and you're going to scream and holler at the teacher, and the teacher's going to get all upset, and then he's going to get all worried, and then he won't be able to discipline your kid anymore, and then that's not what's best for your child. And so what we would love you to do is we love you to call me up when you're calm and in private. Say, Mr. Bauer, my son or my daughter came home today and said this, and I don't know if it's quite fair. Can you help me better understand what you did? And then we can talk, and I can tell you what I believe happened, which may or may not be what really happened, because, well, with 30 kids, I am not going to see everything. So, you can count on me to do my best this year. You can count on me to catch everything. You can count on me to treat your kid fair, but I'm a sinful human being. And if I screwed it up, it won't be the first time. Feel free to call me, and let's talk about it. The last thing that we want to do is to have any negative interaction between you and I. To give your kid the best opportunity of education, you and I need to be on the same page. I need to speak positively about you. You need to speak positively about me. And that will up the odds that your kid gets a dynamite education this year. before I get to the flip side, I had one thing that sometimes kids go home and say, hey, the teacher wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. And I want to clear that up right now, like I will clear it up with your kids. On the first 5 days of school, I'll say the same thing every single day. If you have an emergency in the middle of class, do not raise your hand and give me the number 2. Number 2 is I need to go to the bathroom. Don't raise your hand and give me the number 2, because when I'm teaching, I will never allow you to go to the bathroom. If I'm teaching and I allow you to go to the bathroom, then all of a sudden, every kid in my classroom just decided to get out of class by raising a 2 and going to the bathroom. And I left your child, I better let the next child, I better let the next child, I better let the next child. And so I never let them go to the bathroom while I'm teaching. When I'm done teaching and they've started their math assignment or their reading assignment, then it's time. Put your hands up, go to the bathroom there. It's amazing. Nobody needs to go to the bathroom during study time, but everybody wants to go to the bathroom during teaching time. We also have built-in bathroom times during the day. Twice a day we'll go have some fun at recess, and we'll use the restrooms 2 times a day, as well as at lunch. However, I have to go to the bathroom sometimes. Right in the middle of class, what should I do? And I'm going to teach your kids, just go. Don't raise your hand. I won't give you permission. You got to go. Just go. No emergencies can ever result in wetting pants. Just go. So if your child comes home and says, Mr. Bauer, let me go to the bathroom, that's not the truth. The truth is, and I will teach them, if they got to go and it's an emergency, just go. And when you get back, all you do is you whisper, it was an emergency. And it's no problem. We won't even talk about it again. Now, if your kid has 22 emergencies in a day, then maybe we'll talk about it. Otherwise, if your child has to go to the bathroom and I'm in the middle of class, just go. If it's during study hall, then we'll ask them to raise their 2, because I'm really only supposed to have 1 4th grader in the boys' bathroom and 1 4th grader in the girls' bathroom at a time. And so we try to send them one at a time the best that we can. Again, if they have an emergency, just go. All right, if we flip this sheet over, here's goals of recovery. One of the things about Love and Logic is recovery. Now, what is recovery? Some people think it's like a punishment or a consequence, or the teacher's really mad and sends you to recovery. Well, recovery goal is that the teacher can teach and that the student can learn. If there's a kid in my class who came in a little bit upset and he's slamming his desk and he's saying things under his breath and he won't take out his book and he sits right next to your child, would you expect me to do something with that kid so that your kid can learn? Well, the answer is yes. We want all of our kids to be able to sit in their desks and learn if they want to learn. But if you're cranky and angry and you're making it very difficult for others to learn, then you'll be asked to go to recovery. Now, recovery's got 2 different places, one in my classroom, one in another teacher's classroom. And all it is a safe place for a kid to get in touch with their inner self, to calm down, to work through whatever's going on in their mind, to get a chance to talk to me in private, and then to get back to class. Recovery is not intended to punish or embarrass your child, to solve all the student's problem, or to serve an excuse for me trying not to reach the children's needs. And so if your kid comes home and says, I had to go to recovery today, remember, Mr. Bauer's idea, that is not a big deal. The cool thing about recovery is I don't decide when your kid comes back. Your kid decides there. So if you're worried about your kid not getting their education because they had to go to recovery, remember, your child gets to decide when they come back. Go to recovery, get in touch with yourself, get in a happy spot, talk to the teacher in private, and then come on back. We want you in class. But we also won't allow anybody in these classrooms to steal the education for other kids. And that's what we use with recovery. Now, the other great thing about recovery is when the kid comes back, we're going to teach them the big 3. It goes right along with our religion curriculum here. The first one is we like to train them to say, I'm sorry for. Wouldn't it be awesome if your kids just said sorry rather than parents always say you're sorry, say you're sorry, say you're sorry. No, we're going to train kids to say you're sorry for whatever they did wrong and then ask for forgiveness. And every time they ask for forgiveness, you can be guaranteed that I'm not going to lecture them, I'm not going to yell at them, I'm not going to remind them. I'm going to merely say, I forgive you, and I'm glad that you're back in class. And then the last thing is the consequence. Remember, consequences drive home learning. If your kid acts up and you send them to your bedroom, that was the consequence. If your kid makes a big, huge disaster in the kitchen, spills milk everywhere, cleaning it up, that was the consequence. And so sometimes we try to fit the consequence to whatever the problem was We like the kids to make the choice because then they own those choices. Again, on orientation day, I'll be here. If you have any questions about love and logic or about the recovery process, I'll be more than happy to work with those, talk with those about you. Also, at orientation time, I guess they're going to have parent covenants. And then the covenant talks about what your responsibility is as far as homework and the kids, and my responsibility as well as the timeliness. If you stop up in my classroom, you can sign that right away on the spot. Otherwise, the first day of school, we'll be sending those home for you to sign. Again, come next week, the 9th in the evening for registration orientation, or the 10th in the morning. Mr. Harvey will have a spiel for you, presentation all set, and talk about things that are school-wide, and then you get a chance to pop up and meet me and visit with me and ask any questions that you have. I look forward to educating your child this year. I look forward to working with you and having a dynamite year. Again, reach out if you ever have any questions. We look forward to seeing you.